And when I got home from that event, I'm like, okay, it's time to change something about where we're currently at. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm literally digging through my makeup container right now to try to find some lip gloss. And I feel like my forehead is really shiny. I did have my first chemical peel last week. So if you're watching on YouTube, let me know that my skin looks very dewy. Tell me it looks like I'm 40 again instead of almost 54. Our son's getting married this summer. So the lady that I get Botox from suggested I do a chemical peel just to, make the skin look fresh and what have you. Never done it before. I've looked like an alligator in my face all week, but it is what it is. So I am super excited about this podcast episode because it is totally different than any other podcast I've done. So I think quite a while ago, I did a podcast where I just talked about how working out and exercise affects your business. Okay. Let me give you just the tiniest bit of the backstory. So in high school, I was a decent golfer. I was a decent softball pitcher. I pitched fast pitch softball for 5 years. I started when I was an eighth grader. And that was my joy, being a pitcher. I twirled baton all through middle school, high school, taught baton lessons to baton twirling to some young girls when I was in high school. But I would never have considered myself an athlete ever. Okay. Then I had Noah Allwood when I was 30 years old and figured out, when you put on 54 pounds in a pregnancy, it just doesn't drop right off, especially when you're 30. It'd probably been different if I'd been 21 or something. So anyhow, I started to do a little bit of jogging and I didn't like the jogging, but what I liked was how I felt after I jogged and I liked what it did to my waist. So, I used kind of jogging for some stress relief and to take off baby weight for 3 kids. And then when I was in my middle 30s, I decided, you know what, why don't I do a 5K? Like I've done a little bit of running. And so started a couple 5Ks. When I was 39, I went and watched a triathlon and that made me go, okay, if there's women out there in this lake that are swimming at 70 years old during a triathlon, like I should be able to do a triathlon. But also I didn't know how to swim. So I started taking swim lessons as a 39-year-old woman. And if you read my book, Fears Not the Boss of You, you know the whole story about the triathlons. And then did a triathlon for my 40th birthday. The Today Show picked that story up. They were doing a segment on how women were turning 40 in a different way than they had previously and how they were celebrating. So they sent out a television crew, and I was on the Today Show, the one with Matt Lauer, years ago in spandex. Bless, right? And ended up doing 10 triathlons in the next 6 years. So I have not done a triathlon since I was 46. I am 53. And I'm okay with that. I think there's seasons for everything. Here's what I know to be true. When I was working out and I was in training for triathlons, I was more dedicated in my business. I was more focused in my business. I showed up just in a different way because when you show like discipline in one area of your life, it does show up in all the others. Okay. What I know now at 53, though, is a different perspective on the exercising. I know that I just don't lose weight like I used to. I used to be able, to jog and take it off. Well, now at 53, the knees are just a little bit different. The jogging doesn't feel so good, et cetera. And, that sort of cardio is no longer good for a 53-year-old postmenopausal woman. So I have off and on since I was 46 gone through streaks where I do a good job of working out just for my mental health, just to keep my body moving, just to try to keep my weight in check because I really like donuts and mashed potatoes. And then I've gone through stages where it's taking everything just for me to put one foot in front of the other. And exercising gets, put on the back burner. Because here's what I found to be true, especially with business women. When you have a business that you're running, if you are married or in a relationship, if you have children, if you have a home that you need to make beds and do the dishwasher and the laundry and everything else, and like if something has to give, it will usually, at least for me, and a lot of my girlfriends, it will be the working out and taking care of ourselves that we let go first. Because as women, we're just kind of designed to try to make sure things are going well for everybody else and to be the nurturers and the one that's taking care of a lot of the things. And we tend to put ourselves last, right? So I've gone through periods in my adulthood where I do a better job of working on exercising and things, even not for weight control, but just for like, again, mental health, feeling better, endorphins, all the things. And then I've gone through seasons where I've been awful at it. And so when Jason was in his cycling accident, we are coming up on 4 years, friends. Oh, it is still triggering for me to talk about. It'll be 4 years on Father's Day that Jason went out for a ride. He was going to meet one of our best friends, and they were going to do a ride on, their bikes. And the cable company in Kansas City had left cables across the main road that everybody to get in or out of our neighborhood, you have to go on that road. And we had been out of town, so we did not know that there was cables across the road. And there was like, what do you call those little things that you're supposed to go up and over the cable, just, like kind of ease into it, like little bumpers almost. But those bumpers were like a couple hundred feet down the road and no longer covering the cable. So, Jason sees the cable and, you're thinking to yourself as a normal human, like nobody would just leave a cable in the road if it was going to, kill someone, right? And so when his bike went to go over the cable had raised up off of the ground a couple of inches. You could literally see sunlight below it. And it catapulted him off the bike. He shattered his hip and was in his first hip surgery on Father's Day 4 years ago. So when that happened, our life was in such a state of crisis because we had just adopted a little girl the year before, like 6 months before that. Ari's adoption had become final. Well, a little bit longer than that. We had just launched one kiddo to college. We're busy. I'm running a business. He's helping me run the business. And then he's in a hospital. It's during COVID. It's just a hot freaking mess. Okay. So over the course of the next 3 years, I tended to just eat a lot of my feelings. He had 3 surgeries. And when I say in and out of doctors, I'm talking, you guys, we did chiropractor. He did massage. He did needling. He did dry needling, which I think he probably 0 out of 10 recommends. It was so painful. He did physical therapy. He did so many things. We traveled to um, Scottsdale and had somebody work on him. He traveled to Florida, had somebody work on him. We went to the Mayo Clinic because the doctors were all like, most of the time, 90 some percent of hip replacement surgeries end up going well. And then there is a fraction of people that they're still in a ton of pain. And we were just determined this is not his portion. This is not God's best for my husband. He is going to be pain free at some point. And we were determined to try to figure out what to do to make that happen. So there was a lot of traveling. There was a lot of appointments. There was a ton of medical bills. It was a whole lot for 3 years. And so during that time, I just ate a lot and I gained a lot of weight. I gained close to 40 pounds in 3 years' time. It wasn't overnight, but it was steadily over 3 years. So it was about 2 years ago. I was in Nashville. I didn't actually even plan to tell this story on this podcast, but you're getting the real. I was in Nashville for our mastermind that I had back then with a group of women. And I used to always start out the mastermind with some sort of a mindset training, some sort of a coaching that would help like disarm the women in the room, because a lot of them are meeting me for the first time and they're meeting each other for the first time. And I felt strongly that I was supposed to start that particular mastermind event with just talking about how I had gained so much weight and how it was so embarrassing and how it made me not want to show up even to a business event. And how I was embarrassed because in my head, me being out of control in my weight was equal to me being out of control, period. And how me not being able to keep control over my eating and working out and all the things just showed a lack of discipline, which I know like in my logical brain, that's not the way it was. But I started out the talk that weekend with that you know what, but I'm here. I'm almost 40 pounds heavier than you're used to seeing me. I'm embarrassed. My clothes don't fit. This stinks, but here I am. And when I got home from that event, I'm like, okay, it's time to change something about where we're currently at. And the tactics and the things that I use to take off, because I have taken off that almost 40 pounds now, just as of last week, but it's taken me almost 2 full years. Okay. It's 2 years in April and it's April, what, 12th right now. So it's taken me 2 full years to do that. That's 2 pounds a month, you guys. That's not very fast, but alas, healthy. I feel good. I feel so much more confident, better about myself, etc. So the other day I'm at the gym and I was thinking, I know that there are women like me who have had to put other things first. Oh goodness, it makes me want to cry, you guys. It's been a minute since I've cried on a podcast. Um, Give me a second. I understand sometimes we go through seasons that are just hard because the season of Jason being in constant pain for 3 years, it was hard. And so the last thing I'm freaking worried about is eating broccoli. The last thing I'm worried about is getting to the gym. I'm just trying to figure out how are we going to regain. Sorry, I'm really surprised I'm crying. Some sense of like normalcy. And will we ever get back to where he's not in pain again? And that really stinks. If any of you have ever gone through chronic pain or have been married to or have a family member that's in chronic pain, it's such a helpless feeling because there's just nothing you can do to help. And, I love that man with every ounce of my being and would have done anything to be the one in pain instead of him. And so, hard seasons are just hard. And I know that some of you are either in a hard season or you've been in a hard season. And the thing that I know to be true about life is everybody's either going through something, just got done going through something, or you're getting ready to go through something. You just don't know it yet. And so, for those of you who have just been in a season, like so much grace to you, big hugs because hard things are hard. But I also got to the point where I'm like, okay, I can no longer use like his situation and his pain as an excuse to why I'm not taking care of my body better. And so I had to get back to some sort of a workout routine. I had to try to figure out, okay, now in this season, what works for me? Because doing triathlons isn't working for me, in my 50s. It's just for a multitude of reasons. I don't want to do it anymore. And so I'm like, okay, what do I need to do then to take off weight? Number one, yes, but also just to feel mentally better and just to feel more disciplined and feel like I'm taking care of myself. And so I've got 5 workout tips for you today that I think are going to be really great for those of you in particular who own businesses. This will be a good podcast, though, even if you don't own a business. But it's going to be very different than what you're used to because when I look at the social media accounts of a lot of people who are, get up at 5 a.m. and get your hour in at the gym. Okay, that is never going to be me. And I don't think it needs to be most people. Um, you know, for the people that are at the gym 5 days a week. Okay, I don't have 5 days a week either. I'll give you what I can do. Um, but I had to figure out what am I able to do that is sustainable in this season? And so that's why I think this is going to be helpful for some of you because it's like the real from a girl who's, still probably wishes that I could, drop down another couple of dress sizes, but also I just don't know if that's ever going to happen. It hasn't since I've had children. So I'm at a really comfortable size and weight at the moment and just hoping that I can keep the level of consistency that I've had over the last couple of years. So that's what I'm going to dive into today are what 5 things am I doing to, they're helping me stay consistent, even though I'm running a business, managing a household, got 4 kids, trying to keep my sanity, all the things, without, spending a crap ton of money on exercise clothing and getting up at 5 a.m. because it's not happening. Okay. So first thing is, like I just said, there is no 5 a.m. club here. I want to tell you when I'm working out because when I see people who, showing their alarm going off at 4:45, like good for them, but then I'm just like gagging because that works for them, but that is not going to work for me. Yes, I'm a morning person, but I'm not there's a difference between a 5 a.m. morning person and not. And I just found that if it's going to be sustainable for the long haul, workout first thing in the day, I can't do. Okay. So here's what I do. All right. In the morning time, we put Ari on the bus. Jason and I do between 8 and 8:30. Our bus is here at 8:15. Every single day I have coffee with my husband in the living room. We have quiet time. We're reading our Bible, catching up on social media, whatever. I go through email. I respond to email. I listen to Voxers. I get some work done. And then every day around 9:30 or 10, if it's a workout day for me, my husband, he's probably even better at discipline than I am, but I'm working out between 9:30 and 10 is when I start my workout. Yes, Ari gets on the bus at 8:15 in the morning, but I can't go into a workout then because in my head, I'm thinking of all the things in my inbox, all the DMs I need to respond to, all the comments on my Instagram post from last night. Like I'm already into business mode mentally. And so I can't shut that down and immediately go work out. I have to like get some stuff done and then I can go work out. Okay. That is the rhythm that works for me. So I want to encourage you, whoever's listening today, that like there's statistics. I'm going to give you a statistic on each one of these talking points today, because according to the CDC, who I don't trust very far at all, by the way, can I just say that? But this is where the stat came from. Okay. But only 24%, which is one out of every four Americans, gets the recommended amount of exercise they need every week. Only one out of four. So if it works for you to go at 5 a.m., go. But if the 5 a.m., like if you seeing everybody else doing that, if you're like me and you know that that doesn't work for you, then just know it's not the hour that you work out that makes it good for you. It's just that you get it done. It's the habit of moving your body. So whatever time that is for you, if it's 10 o'clock at night, like do it to the glory of God. Okay. Because there is no 5 a.m. workouts happening here. All right. Number two. I have decided that I work out best and I will actually be more committed if I leave the house to go work out. Now, in full transparency, we do have a home gym. We have a treadmill downstairs. We have a Peloton bike downstairs, and I have a whole workout room with all the mirrors on the walls. You know, I have one of those things where you stand upside down on your head, do a little Pilates stuff. I have a bench. I have free weights. I have cables. I have all the bands, the balls, you know, that you throw, all the things. Okay, I have all of it here. However, what I have figured out in the last 2 years is this, that yes, I have something in the basement, but when I do work out at home, which I still do on occasion, I get distracted because I'm like, oh, look at this. The stairs are dusty. Let me dust this real quick while I'm on my way to go work out. I'm in the workout room and I'm in between sets because I'm mostly focusing right now on walking and weights. In case anybody's wondering, walking and weights, walking and weights, walking and weights. This is my life. And so, you know, can I flip a load of laundry real quick in between sets? And then as someone who has undiagnosed ADHD, but then the laundry reminds me, oh yeah, and you also need to sew a button on something quick, which also reminds me, oh yeah, you need to put some stuff away in the craft room, which then reminds me, oh, the dishwasher needs, like, I'll get so far sidetracked. And so working out at the house keeps me very, very distracted. It's so distracting. But if I leave the house and go to the gym, my brain actually kind of shifts into it. Okay, Jen, you can't do anything else other than point number 3, which is I'm going to talk about next. So I have to work out. I can't flip a load of laundry at the gym, right? And the other beneficial thing to going to our neighborhood gym is that I know that there is probability that there will be other humans at the gym. Now, I'm not a human person. I am a complete introvert. I prefer to be at the gym all by myself. And when I do, I don't put in earbuds. I blast music at full blast and dance around and enjoy my life. Okay. But 9 times out of 10, there are other people there. Well, because I'm just a competitive person by nature and not necessarily with other people at the gym, but I just don't want to look like a chump. I just don't want to look like a weakling. I just don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing on this particular machine. So I will work a little bit harder if people are there. And 99.9% of the time, nobody's even noticing me, right? And because the people at our neighborhood gym, we'll get 3 or 4 in there at a time. It's not like it's not like I'm going to lifestyle fitness or something. And God bless those of you that do. But I'm just saying that like, the idea that there are other people there prompts me to just maybe do another set, maybe up the weights, a little bit, 5 pounds or whatever. And so this is actually a concept called environmental cues, which is where your brain associates certain spaces with certain habits. And so if you work where you sleep and you sleep where you eat and you eat where you work, like everything totally blurs. So often just changing your environment gives you a different perspective and a lot more focus. So I leave the house and I go to the gym. Okay. Number 3, while I'm at the gym, I work. Yes, I'm working out, but I also allow myself to work. Here's what I found. When I was trying to get back into the habit of regular workouts and I realized, okay, I've got to go to the gym. If I also tried to convince myself, Jen, don't open email, don't look at any Voxers, don't do whatever. You guys, I would sit there at the gym and I would get like so fidgety and so like upset on the inside because I know my business and I know that I've got my coaching clients who are in my Voxer coaching. They're able to Voxer me Monday through Friday. So I know that those are stacking up. I know that people are coming in wanting my advice and they're wanting me to answer questions for them about their business, and that's what they're paying me for. And I don't want to make them wait. There's sometimes women have a question, hey, my stuff's launching today and I need to know, where do you think I should price it at? 77 or 97? Like sometimes they need an answer right away. So if I go to the gym and I'm like, don't open email, don't open Instagram, don't open Messenger, then I just sit there and I think to myself, okay, I'm just going to be so screwed when I leave here because I'm going to have so much stuff to do. And so I have decided I'm just in between sets going to allow myself to look at Voxer, look at emails, all of those things, because otherwise I can't fully relax and get into the workout mode. Now, I know a lot of you who are exercise experts. Listen, I'm not, but I am telling you, I've figured out some things that work for me. And I just want to give permission to those of you who have never fit into the box of what works for other people. Like, especially if you're an entrepreneur, your brain's not the same. It just isn't. You and me think differently. And so I have to do things that almost trick my brain at times in order to get some of the results that I want. So, I think that multitasking is often not great for us, especially as business owners. However, if I can multitask at the gym by both working out and working, and that helps me to go and stay consistent, then I would rather sit in the gym for 40 minutes, but half that time I'm working, than not go to the gym at all. That for me is a win. Does that make sense? So, a statistic for this particular point is that the International Journal of Workplace Health Management showed that people who exercise during the workday, so during a regular 9 to 5 day, reported 72% improvement in time management and work performance. So essentially, if I work out during work hours, I'm really boosting my productivity during the rest of my work hours. That's what I take away from that. So I want to just give you permission to do some work while you're working out. If that's going to get your body moving and get you to, putting in some time and get some weights going, then absolutely do that. All right. So that was point number 3. Point number 4 is this. Guys, I'm kind of in this like, wear what I want era. I just did like a whole photo shoot a few weeks ago. And I bought a couple of bustiers. Do you know if you spell bustier, it looks like you should say it bustier? I'm just saying. Why are words so hard? Why do we spell Wednesday the way that we do? Why isn't it just WENS day? Wednesday or Wednesday, WINS day. Like, I don't understand why we spell things the way we do. But so I bought these 2 bustiers, okay? And one is like pink jewels and the other had flowers all over it. Not a print of flowers, but flowers that actually projected, like flowers that came off the bustier. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Yeah. And so that was such a fun photo shoot. And I've posted about it on social media. If you want to go back and look at some of the photos, I give away like here's my list of photo shoots that you need if you're a business owner. So go get that if you never have. I think it's at, oh gosh, what is it at? jenniferallwood.com/camera maybe, or jenniferallwood.com/camera ready. Something. Send me an email, drop me a DM. I'll get it to you. But anyway, okay. So because I'm in my wear what I want era, including floral bustiers, I realized 2 winters ago. And the winters in Kansas City are not dreadful. Okay, let me say that. I grew up in Iowa. Iowa has much more dreadful winters than what Kansas City does. However, when you also have 2 homes in Florida and 1 in Arizona, anything compared to that is a dreadful winter. Okay, so I'm just saying. So a couple of years ago, I was getting ready to go to the gym, and normally I'm doing, again, just weights, or sometimes I will get on a treadmill, but I'm not like running and I'm not walking unless I'm doing an incline walk, and then I'll wear sneakers, or I'm walking backwards on the treadmill, which I got from Sandy Krakowski, and it's actually so good for you because it makes you have to laser focus if you're on an incline on your balance. As a 53-year-old woman, that stuff is needed. You don't, here's what they don't tell you in your 40s. You start feeling really unsure of your balance in your 50s. It's weird, guys, because your eyes aren't the same and just your body is changing and like your center of gravity feels off and you just no longer, you've tripped a few times by now. You've maybe fallen out of the front door picking up a UPS package and twisted your ankle really bad and your husband caught it all on the Ring camera and it was funny and you may or may not have peed your pants. Like stuff like that happens. Okay. And so the walking backwards on the treadmill, really, really great for balance. Okay, but I digress. Okay, so I just want to normalize showing up for a workout in whatever the heck will make you feel good and get it done. Okay, I wear a full face and make it to the gym, friends. Full face, lipstick, everything. And by the way, and this is not because I'm like, oh, she doesn't want anybody to see her without makeup. Okay. I come from a long line of women who have never left the house without makeup. It's just, this is genetics, okay? My grandmother, God rest her soul, when she was on her deathbed, I was pregnant with Ava. So this would have been 17 years ago. I'll never forget this. We're in the hospital room. All the cousins and aunts and uncles are there. My grandmother's, fading fast. She talked to us for a few minutes. She sits up, asks for her lipstick. She puts on her hot pink lipstick. That woman laid back down in her bed, didn't speak for a couple of hours, and then was gone. Into heaven she went. The last thing she did was put on her lipstick, and this is my life. Okay, so I just want you to know. So I wear a full face of makeup to the gym. I'm also not a sweater, so I'm not up there like going at it so hard, grunting and lifting so crazy, because I don't think you need to do that at 53. It's not good for your adrenals anyway anymore. So I'm not getting all sweaty and sweating things off. I wear a full face of makeup because otherwise I'll hide. And I wear what feels good. So a couple winters ago, as I was saying, back to winters, I was in my Uggs one day and I'm like, I'm just wearing my Uggs to the gym. And I Googled, like, is it okay not to wear sneakers when you're lifting weights at the gym? Turns out it is. Turns out it is. So you guys, not only am I wearing Uggs to gym, but they're Ugg boots. They're not like the Ugg slippers that Ava wears. They're Ugg boots. And not only are they Ugg boots, but they're platform Ugg boots. So they have a little bit of something on the bottom. So I'm a little taller because every half inch makes you look 5 pounds thinner. Did you know? You can thank me later. So I'll have a full face of makeup, a big cozy sweatshirt on, and my black Ugg boots, and I don't care. And there may be people there that are like, oh, Barbie doll workout girl or whatever. It's not that. I don't. I'm wearing hot pink, and I'm wearing boots, and I'm wearing a full face of makeup because that's what I feel good in. And it makes me feel like comfy cozy. And in the winter time, it is harder for me to want to work out than what it is in the summertime. And so if I can just get out the door in my Uggs and my sweatshirt, I'm so much more likely to get an actual workout in. So whatever you need to do to feel confident and comfortable enough to show up for a workout, this is what I want you to do. Okay. This there's a research study done. They call this the enclothed cognition. I've never heard of this. Is this made up? There's a 51% chance it is. It basically just says that what we wear affects our mindset. So if you feel powerful or relaxed or whatever in what you wear, it actually will affect how you perform. I mean, duh, right? So wear what you need to wear to get your booty out the door, to get a workout in, to just move. This is what I'm saying. Okay. And the last point is this. I tend to have a very all or nothing personality. So I'm either all in and I'm totally sugar free, or I am, grabbing handfuls of chocolate chips out of the baking drawer and then telling Jason to throw away the rest of the bag because I'm a crack addict. Like I'm either all or one. I'm either all in or I'm all not. So I used to not work out if I didn't have at least 30, 45 minutes to work out, but I decided I had to shift my mind about that. And I had to remind myself getting in a couple sets of weights at the gym, way better than nothing. If all I can do is be there for 15 minutes, then I'm going to do that. Okay. Because that's how consistency gets built. And I am just proud of myself for showing up. The American Heart Association says that just 10 minutes of physical activity a day is enough to improve your health and mood. If you do it a couple times a day, you don't need an hour. You just need to be intentional. And so I have just decided, okay, if I can only go for 15 minutes, I go for 15 minutes. Do the people who are at the gym think that I'm a clown because I'm wearing a full face of makeup, my platform Uggs, and I'm only there for 20 minutes and working half that time? Possibly, but I showed up. And so listen, I hope I just set somebody free today. I hope some other woman's like, oh my gosh, Jennifer, thank you for like giving us the real, because Lord knows I am not like a professional workout person. I would rather not work out, but the Holy Spirit told me years and years ago, Jen, to be the size that you want to be, to look in your clothes like you want to, you will have to work out twice as much as you want to and eat half as much as you want to. And so this is where I'm at. Okay. This is where I'm at. And so I would so rather you try a couple of things that I suggested here and just see if you can somehow fit in a workout to your busy schedule of owning a business, raising kids, still needing to do all of the things. Like, look, I get it. But I'm just hoping that I gave you something here that's going to make you feel like, it's possible for you to do all of the things. All right. Listen, the older I get, the more I understand that your health it's not a negotiable. It's not. And for us business owners, here's the big thing that I need for you to always keep in mind. The majority of us have not set up a business yet that can run at 100% capacity without us. I hope to get there someday, but at this point, I'm not. Okay. So if there is no me, there is no business for the most part. And that's probably your situation as well. And so while I know it's hard to carve out some time and, there's always things pressing for your attention, you have got to take care of the one body that God gave you so that you can be around to continue doing that business that's generating revenue for your family. And so I hope this helps, whether it's wearing Uggs, answering emails at the gym, or just getting in a 20-minute dumbbell session. I don't care what it is, but I hope that this helps you. And if so, if you're watching on YouTube, would you just leave something in the comments for me? And if you're listening to wherever you listen to podcasts, if you'll just maybe share this on Instagram with some other, people who don't consider themselves real workout people. I'm just trying to move my body. I told Jason the other day, I can tell when I skip a week or two because it's just like my whole body feels rusty, like a bike that sat outside in the winter all winter long and nobody rode it. It needs greased up, baby. And so I got to keep this thing moving. And so if this was a blessing to you today, share it on social media. If you would tag me, I would appreciate it so, so much. And most of all, just let me know if any of these resonated with you and if you're going to try something first. Okay. Bless you, my friends. It's always my joy to be here with you. See you soon. Bye-bye. Easton, your brother's calling me. Noah, man of God, Allwood. Let's answer him. Hello, Noah Allwood.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing fine, son. How are you? I'm actually recording a podcast. You are on the air as we speak.
I was calling to let the podcast know my mom was looking good in the gym this morning.
Did you? That's what I just did the podcast on, is working out. I did not pay Noah Allwood to say this, guys.